Okay, parchment paper, wax paper. Yeah, that's what we want. I dry it off a bit before I roll it on there, but now I can roll the friendly plastic around. And again, it sticks like crazy, so you're gonna get little dirt and stuff in there. So you gotta kind of make peace with it at some point. There we go. So you have maybe the white on what clear plastic on parchment paper maybe isn't super great to come up on camera, but yeah, rolling it on the mat board, the healing mat, was not a good idea at all. So we can kind of slide it around. I guess like nice glossy finish, and as it cools, it's going. I can feel it cooling. It stiffens up a bit. You just keep rolling it back and forth. Yeah, I talked about doing like porcupine quills. Now I can kind of I want to start gripping and pulling from the thicker part usually, because otherwise it'll get real lumpy. And if it kind of pulls away unevenly, just kind of bring back here and just squeeze and roll. And yeah, it's strong. Like you'll see when you're done with it just how strong. If you want it to be a quill, it'll have a little poke at the end. There it goes. And now I can kind of gently pull that around and give it some dimensionality. You know, you can look up quills. They're kind of fat towards the end. Surprisingly, they have all these like barbs built into them. There we go. And how it curls and bends. There we go. Leave that to the side. It shouldn't stick once it's hardened. Dry it up a bit. There we go. Just keep going. And if that end is stiff at all, just dip it back in your hot water again. There it goes. Again, that evenness of heat. Like if it's really hot on one end and gooey and then stiffens up on the other, you'll see like a kink, like a separation, like almost like a joint in between. And you might want that. That might be a definite design decision to make. This could be really great for insects, crustaceans, ocean creatures. However, and it's lighter. It's got a really lightweight to it, that gloss. But so I just cut it there and see if we can. Ooh, wow, it really still sticks. Shocking. But yeah, if I'm going to mix this together with some of the areas of magic sculpt. So if you want some spines, spikies coming off there, it'll work out really well. Kind of that transition from bone to the socket to where like a tooth or a spike might detach or come grow from. Same thing in the skull. So I'm thinking for his hair, if these things are coming off, um, like porcupine quills, I think that'd be pretty badass. So kind of the materials and the process can help you design, help you come up with ideas and think about what your character is, and it can become something totally different through this process. So don't fight that. I think that's one of the things to learn in this class, not only how to fabricate whatever you have in your head, but also how to be a good designer, how to be a good character artist. And since we're designing them to be posed, you also have to put on your 4D, your time medium, your animation hat. There we go. Just kind of keep stroking the end of that until it's at the kind of curl and point that I want. Maybe give it like a little forward, so it kind of comes up a little like that. Let's see if I can get it that one as well. There we go. Okay, do a few more. Maybe a few thicker one. So yeah, it stiffened up quite a bit. So I'm just gonna dip it right back in the hot water, like get nice and soft again. And you'll see if I do that and it's already the core, you'll see a translucency on the outside and a core on the inside. And that used to drive me nuts. Used to fight a lot, and then I realized, oh, okay, that's the nature of the material. Let me use that to my advantage, and I would think of ways to shape it while the core was still a little stiffer. And well, the outside was thinner, but it kind of it'll peel away from that inner, drier, harder core, the outside of the friendly plastic will. So just be aware of that. So if you want to grab a piece that is fully melted all the way, gooey, where you can really, start getting it into a particular type of shape, or you might want to just slowly dip it back into your hot water container and soften up certain portions of it, right? And also you may want to re-adhere other pieces to it. So if I get it soft, if I get two parts of this soft, I can, of course, it'll stick to itself. So let's maybe do one of those just to show you how that works. Be careful not to let it stick to my cutting board too much. There we go. I'm trying to squish my quills. Some kind of dark speck got in there. It's okay. We'll just kind of run and with it and play with that. So a little upward motion from the start of it, and then a nice kind of soft curl back. There we go. And all my teeth and claws and toe claws I have in a little tray here. Of them all dried up and ready to rock and roll. There we go. And if it's the same, you can always pull, pull, pull like that. Get it somewhere where I'm happy, and then cut that. See, it's going to get hard and dry as it cools. So drop that back into my crock pot off camera over here. There we go. Bring it back over here and it's like it's got a life to it. It's a little worm, earthworm Jim. There we go. And you see my parchment paper is getting a little warpy, so let's kind of decide if you need a fresh piece of parchment paper, maybe let this one dry out, use another one. But you should be able to reuse your parchment paper or wax paper quite a bit with this process. Again, a piece of glass, I think. I have to double check my, because you don't want this sticking to certain surfaces. There we go. So I got two good ends there, much, much thinner. And I'll press harder and roll it out. So it's a little bit longer. Careful not to make it lumpy, fatter in one area and thinner in an area where I don't want it to be. Yeah, see a little lumpy. Both sides got a little lumpy. That's all right. I'll show you how this works though. Cut this in half. And I'm going to dip the thicker end of each side down in my crock pot. So there you go. So it's got a nice translucency. It goes. It immediately slumps on me. And then I'm going to just press these two together gently. And they are now stuck together quite well. See that I think is going to work out nicely though. So not all of his quills are, the kind that stiffen up and stab you maybe, but maybe he's got almost like hair. Now these aren't going to animate because of that stiffness. They're not going to bend and flex too much. But that's there you go. Stuck to my thumb a little, so I have to. But yeah, if you're doing like a shrimp, antennas, Do you want little spikes and spines? There we go. Looks pretty darn cool, if you ask me. All right, so I'll just take another piece, do something somewhat matching. I unplugged my crock pot and it's still keeping very hot. Last piece. And if you have a big piece like that, you can kind of set them to the side. You can use them to heat up faster, get to the shape you want faster. If you've discovered there's certain shapes that work well. This one here. I'm gonna roll really thin at the end. Try to. And then pull. And you'll see what I mean by the lumpiness. Like it really cools in one area faster than the other, and it leaves that little bump. There it goes. And I've got to go off my parchment paper to cut it. Go. Knowing I'm going to re-adhere like I did with those two. So we'll just put that back in. Dip, dip. There it goes. It's a longer, thinner shape that I was hoping for. It's got that little fat bump in the middle as usual. And maybe I haven't done a deep enough dive on this yet. If you find other thermoplastic sculpting tutorials, sculpture artists to learn techniques from, please share. I'm curious to see what other ways people are doing this. Okay, so now I remember I want the base to want to stiffen up at the base. So I'm thinking that's the right or the left side of a skull. This will be the left side. So I'm gonna um, dip back down the thicker part of this, and for a few seconds, let it get nice and gooey. There it goes, and then do the same thing for this piece here, which I want to maybe think about the shape as well. Okay, nice and gooey, and then press these two together. Once more. I might have left it in too long. There it goes. Don't stick to the other side. Don't stick, don't stick. There it goes. Then, yeah, if it's still really saggy, and you don't want them to touch and get stuck together, right? So I'm kind of pinching and rolling that end. I don't think I can avoid them touching. Just let them touch a little bit then. There it goes. And rather than have it curl all the way, I'm just going to lay them to their side like that. If I can get it off my finger, here we go. And see if I can, gotta keep them separated. There we go. Yeah, nice. Make sure it's not sticking to the, almost like antlers, which these would probably make cool little mini antlers too. Think about it. Yeah, this is still flexible. It's still soft in the inside. So anyway, that is Friendly Plastic. Or also just that's the brand, but it's this thermoplastic. It's non-toxic, activates in the water, and it's super fun to shape. So we'll see you with the next techniques.